really impressive things, and honestly, I'm very happy with how this route has turned out. So I think we'll be ready to go whenever.
Yeah, sure. I'll give a countdown, and we can start it. So 3, 2, 1, go. So this first level, we don't really have access to the spell we get later that really breaks the game. So it's pretty. I don't want to call it a glitchless level, but there really isn't too much exciting here. We're mostly just trying to play the level as quickly as possible.
Yeah, there's like there's a couple of skips that we do, and we're also going to be introducing you to one of the major tricks that we do throughout the route. It's present in a couple of Lego games. The first like four or so games on Engine 2 are actually all have this trick before it was kind of patched out in Lego Batman 2. So an interesting fact about that is that the Pirates of the Caribbean community like knew about this trick for like a long time before we did. And so like when it was found, I like went into a whole bunch of games and wanted to try it out. I didn't have Pirates of the Caribbean, so I asked them about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, we knew about that." And I was like, "Well, okay, I guess it's my fault for not watching a run, but."
All right.
Yeah, so this is kind of a bit of a skip. Usually you have to build a staircase out of those pieces, but that's slow, and there's nothing stopping us from just jumping on them.
Yeah. There's a couple places like that in the run where there's stuff you're supposed to do, but it doesn't really. You can just kind of like not do stuff and still finish the run. So there's. Yeah, you can explain this.
Yeah, so this segment is actually slower in co-op, strangely. Usually what happens is in single player there's a cutscene trigger at the end of this tunnel that you can just run into, but in co-op that's not there, so you absolutely have to make sure that Dudley is paralyzed and has his soul sucked out.
It's a really weird trigger because it's just sitting there in bounds, and if you get to the end in solo, you can just finish that like 6 or 7 seconds faster, but not a big deal.
I guess maybe it's there for people who couldn't figure out what to do because they just had Harry.
Maybe.
So I'm pretty sure that an hour of this 2-hour run is just cutscenes. So, oops.
Welcome to Lego games.
Yeah.
We got
this is actually a strangely important auto scroller. We actually get most of the studs that we need in this run right here. Mainly just for the first spell, which we were talking about earlier. So we want to make sure that we get as many studs as possible. Even in single player runs, often people sort of 1P2C this, where they have one character who's actually going out of the way to get the studs, and then another who's just idling, just so that we can get maximum stud gain. There's a lot of purple studs that we need to get as well. I think we got all the purples.
Yeah, I don't think we missed anything there, so that's good.
Yeah. There's another opportunity to get some more studs that we take. I'm not sure if it's actually faster or not, but there's some dead time.
Yeah.
So I suppose now is a good time to explain that trick we were talking about earlier in this first level.
Sure.
What actually happens is if you're in an in-game cutscene where it's just a camera pan, and you drop in player 2, then this weird thing happens where the cutscene still plays. It's just, oh, I think we missed it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, no,
okay.
We didn't. We
kind of got it.
The cutscene still plays, but you can move around during it. And so that saves a lot of time. And in some cases, it even just skips the actions of the cutscene altogether.
Hello. Okay, sure. I'm gonna drop out so we can do this next one.
Alright. It's probably for the best. The timing is strangely a tiny bit tight, because you can only do it at the beginning when it starts to pan. And currently, I'm experiencing a bit of lag. We're doing this over Parsec. Usually it's fine, but today, because, you know, we're doing a marathon run, something had to go wrong.
Of course. Hopefully that's the one thing and everything else can go smoothly.
Yeah. Hopefully. I'm pretty sure I was just talking about this in our practice run, but it's really incredible to me how people aren't able to spot how out of place that is, considering that it's entirely made of Lego bricks and everything else is just made of various textures.
It's always great how the important stuff is the only things made out of Lego in the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Everything else is just normal.
Makes me wonder if, like, Lego characters are capable of eating food that has regular textures, or if they can only eat the plastic stuff. Pretty sure this is the last Lego game where they had grunts in it.
It is,
and
yeah.
So, thankfully, that's the thing, because I'm pretty sure that if not, this run would have 2 hours of cutscenes instead of just one. And nobody wants that.
Yes, of course.
Alright, let me fix this. Oh.
So we got some small dead time here. I'm just gonna get some studs while we're waiting on,
Yeah, the name of this room is downtime.
Yes.
I've checked the game source.
Alright, I'll, if you want to do
Drop
that.
out for this next one?
Yeah.
Alright. So, usually you can actually Wingardium Leviosa that just as it comes down, but I was a bit slow on the draw there. So, this is that other place I was talking about where you have an opportunity to get some studs. You can force, as one player forces this, and then, should I drop out for this one?
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Bit.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so yeah, we use this time to go up on this fountain here and get this purple. And there's also just some blue studs in the area.
Yeah.
Because we have to wait until this guy here, who you can see kinda in the window, cranks this gate open. And even then, there's like a couple of frames where there's just an invisible wall.
Yeah, so like Toffee mentioned earlier, because we skipped that cutscene, all of that downtime up until when the arrow appeared was supposed to happen during the cutscene, but since we skipped it and got free movement, we were able to just take advantage of that time to do other actions.
So usually this guy not forces, you know what I mean, that box for us. But as long as we give him the apple, then you can Wingardium Leviosa it yourself during the cutscene skip. That was found by Annabeth, I'm pretty sure, who is another person who has contributed a bit to this game. So shoutouts to her.
Another amazing, like, minute-and-a-half cutscene here without too much to do while we're just waiting for the decision here on whether or not to allow Harry to go back to Hogwarts or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, they have to depict a lot using only grunts in this, because there's a lot of plot in this single cutscene.
And I actually think they do a pretty good job with that. There's one specific cutscene that comes to mind, like, way later in the run, when Harry's looking at Snape's memories, that I think they do, like, a really good job of conveying a lot of information with just grunts.
Yeah, in that cutscene, when they're all voting, they have, like, red and green hands, and I'm wondering if that's, like, a glove? Like, an oversized, like, glove that you would wear to, like, a hockey game or something? Or if that's just their hands turn certain colors, like, how Dumbledore has become Scray later on.
All right.
Yes, I do read too much into children's games. Thank you for asking.
So now we're into the hub. Between the levels in this game, there's a bunch of hub sections in the castle and other places like Leaky Cauldron, the street out here. So that's where a lot of the really broken stuff happens.
Most of the game is in these hub areas. What's actually defined as a level tends to be pretty arbitrary, because there's a lot of things that would act as levels in any other game that you just can't replay without starting a new game. And then there's some levels which are just questionable being called levels at all. Would probably work better as hub areas. But there's a lot of interesting routing that occurs because of these hub areas. Like, aside from the fact that we skip a lot of levels, there's just some interesting stuff. Like, in fact, Chimkin just worked on something where actually we do some of the year is out of order, which isn't something that we did before.
Okay. And I think this hasn't mentioned, but you're going to see those cutscene skips probably close to 100 times throughout the run. They're all over the place. There's a lot of them. And there was another one just there.
Some are more significant than others, while others we're just not even sure if they save time.
Yeah.
Another reason why we felt like we should show up co-op is because the way that this game is built is that there's a lot of sections where there's branching paths that you need to take in order to complete a single objective. And so that works pretty well for co-op.
Yeah.
You can 1P2 see this. Like, I've noticed that Chimkin in his any percent runs has been going for a lot of 1P2C in just normal sections. And has been trying to optimize that. But it's still pretty hard to be one person and concentrating on two things.
Yeah.
So co-op alleviates some of that. See, like that food is just regular textures. It's not Lego. Can they eat it? Is it decorations?
My favorite piece of food here is on one of these tables. It just looks like it's aluminum foil.
Oh right, yeah, the aluminum foil circle.
It's like, it's coming up in one of these shots. Yeah, like, what is that?
There.
It's like, it's just covered in aluminum foil.
It looks like a button that would be used in like another Lego game in order to like detonate a bomb. I'm not even.
I guess this is a good time to mention. So we're playing the game with VSync off, so we're getting like between like 500 and 1,000 frames per second, like at any point, and that does some pretty strange things to the game. And you're gonna see one of them here coming up soon.
It's great. So this is the Gryffindor common room. You're supposed to see this room only once in the story. We see it like 3 times. So, hope you enjoy the Gryffindor common room. Yeah, so that's a weird VSync thing. We just got launched up ahead. Can I explain why? No, but I'm thankful it's there.
You want to drop up for this one?
Yes, indeed.
Alright.
A
little too late. That's...
my bad.
I'll blame that on the latency. Luckily, that one's not a very important one.
So this is the all-important Dada band.
Yes.
Which involves you watching as you realize that a whole bunch of time save could have occurred if this Professor Umbridge just didn't ban all our spells. Because what could happen if she didn't is that we could just go the final year and do all those levels and skip everything else. But no, here we are. She's the true villain in all of this.
Yeah, so I guess this might be a good time to mention, a lot of what we do in this game revolves around getting all of the abilities we need so that we can actually complete the last year of levels, because as soon as as soon as this lesson ends, we're able to freely go to any episode that we want, because we can clip into walls, but we'll get to that in a minute.
See how far I can get.
Yeah, this end section's mostly just one player.
Also, strangely, our pets just kind of appear after this.
Yeah,
I've never really questioned that, but...
You don't have access to any of the abilities on your spell wheel till after this lesson is over, which is part of why the early game is so straightforward, linear to this point. But after this, we're given the option to really open up what we're able to do.
Yeah, there's gonna be a couple levels. So after this, we can actually buy the spell that allows us to do a lot of the crazy stuff. However, some runners prefer to save it for later because the only real use up until after 5-3, the third level, is just like a small skip that saves a couple of seconds if you do it first try. So a lot of people opt to do it later than that. Oh no.
Alright, I'm gonna drop out for this one, for the spoon man skip.
Works.
Okay, good. This cutscene's really, really long if you miss it, so it's glad we got that one. We have to mock the guy with the spoon for some reason. That's what Harry Potter's all about.
Harry Potter, a book about famously bullying people.
And that cutscene doesn't really save time because we need to wait for him to get this anyway.
Yeah. This is one of the weirdest things in the game because they really just don't want you to go through here. Like, as you can see, so it just looks extremely strange. But at the same time, they didn't put in a camera pan, so you're just kind of brushing up against it and sliding off.
After that last lesson, we got access to the Lumos spell, which is the white one in the bottom right of our spell wheel. And Lumos is a pretty broken spell.
So in the previous Harry Potter game, you had to press a button in order to actually activate Lumos, or else it would just be like white on the tip of your spell wheel. But in this game, they decided, I guess it was meant to be a quality of life improvement, that you could just activate Lumos by taking out. But what happens is the Lumos animation will actually cancel most animations that you can use. And you'll see that in this part of it especially, because one of the big uses was when you give things to people, like an item when they want it, then there's usually an animation of you actually handing it over, but you can skip that and walk away, and so it saves actually a surprising amount of time throughout the game.
And so now we're on to the Thestrals lesson, where we need to give meat and fish to these 3 Thestrals, so we unlock this ability, which is not one we actually use in any percent, but we can't really skip this lesson.
Aren't they meant to be like skeleton beasts?
Yeah.
Do they really need to sustain themselves?
That's a good point. I'm not really sure.
Sorry, I'm very
No.
skeptical of this game just because sometimes it feels like, why do we need to do this?
If you want to take this one, I'll go to the next one.
Alright. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, is this another?
No, it's not.
Oh.
That's fine.
I'm a fool.
Oh, maybe it is. We're able to move freely during that one, but I guess it is technically a camera pan.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I did it. I was a bit confused for a second because I kind of forgot that if you're handing an item to people, you'll still have it in your hand. And that especially looks silly when you're like doing things like reading a newspaper before you get there's an item called the Spectrospecs later on. I've never done that jump before, so that's something.
Yeah, that's a small time save you can skip building the bridge. That's a very involved section with a lot of moving parts. There's a couple of small platforming skips there, but nothing major. And that was another thing. Normally that cutscene triggers when the animation finishes, but if you cancel the animation, it just cues the cutscene right away.
So early on, this is where we go get the spell, but
yeah, basically we need 110,000 studs, and at any point really after that we can go get it.
Yeah, in co-op it's very common for you to have more than that, like
yeah.
Once you exit that section without having to stud grind really. Like usually an early strat was to walk along this bridge and get all these studs on the second section, but then people were like, wait, we don't really need to do that if we can just pick up a lot of the studs passively as the game goes on and then get it when we really need it.
Luckily this game doesn't have heavy stud grinding. Like if the freeze spell cost a lot more, then it would be unfortunate. We'd probably have to grind a lot more, but luckily it really isn't that expensive, and the game's pretty lenient with the studs it gives you. Do you want to go queue the level and I'll go put the thing by Ravenclaw?
Yeah, that works.
So this is a door we're gonna eventually use later. I'm just gonna do part of the puzzle to open it while we're here.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Don't have Augmenta yet, so can't do the other half. Now we're on to the second level of year 5.
So this is a level where we go around Hogsmeade, doing things for people, and then they're like, wow, Harry, you're so nice. I guess I'll join your magic militia.
This is a level that unfortunately we don't really have a lot of skips for, because the level ends once you once you like recruit all 7 of the students, and that's so even if we were like able to skip all these things, we wouldn't really do anything.
I'll drop out, I guess.
Or no, I got it.
What happened?
I dropped out.
Oh, I see. Oh no. Cat. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. So we'll mostly just be doing the intended strats throughout here, but we'll be multitasking a lot to do it a little faster.
If you had the freeze spell for this level, you can actually get into the last little room, which is the tavern, early, and do all that, but still, the level won't end until you get everybody here.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, that lost some time. We have to wait for her to stop being dizzy. I'm not really concerned. I don't know if our estimate changed at all. So our current estimate is probably somewhere around like 235, and currently our PB is like 10 minutes under that.
Yeah, I think the estimate might be 245 actually. So that should be very easy to. Oh, I have the shovel.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just finish this and then.
Around. Oh, stupid. I'll go ahead while you give the flowers and I'll
Sure thing.
this puzzle. Oh, right. I'm very forgetful. Not a good quality in a speedrunner.
Alright, I'll let you do that and I'll skip the cutscene.
Yeah, so this is one of the cutscene skips where it actually just takes you right in. You don't need to watch.
Oops.
This is, I believe, a reference to Harry Potter Puppet Pals right here. I'm pretty sure that's been mentioned somewhere else.
Yeah, I think
it might have been Alapai's ESA run that I got that from.
That's pretty amusing that that's... I never made that connection before, but I think that's, like, spot on. That's pretty funny.
Love Neil Cicerega, the guy who made it.
Alright, and...
Oh, stupid cat!
Yeah, the cat is kind of annoying because normally you want to be like right next to Lumos, and the cat is right next to Lumos. But that's that level. Pretty straightforward level, nothing too flashy, but we're gonna start doing some interesting stuff pretty soon.
Yeah, first though we have dueling, which is actually a part of the run that we don't really know if we completely need. Like, theoretically, there's a route where we skip the spell that we actually need in this year, which is why we keep playing. But in that route, we're not actually sure if, theoretically, we would even need to do this, because, honestly, I have no clue.
So when I was doing an Old Crest run, I accidentally routed it so that I had a duel before the dueling lesson, and I was still able to duel. So,
oh, okay,
I don't think unlocking dueling actually does anything.
It's just a gesture.
I guess. Which is nice. If we could find a way to skip getting the extra spell in this episode, we could save like another 20 minutes on the run, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know why I went so far right there with Colin, but okay.
I think this is one of those cutscenes you can't skip.
Yeah. Or like even if you could, you still have to wait, and you gain control before the key comes out anyway.
You could, if you had the spell, you could clip right through this. But in that case, you would need to do it every time, because Colin mysteriously vanishes, but the camera's still there, haunting you.
Yeah, there's a lot of small clips like that, but if you ended up going for them, you'd have to like do them like 4 times throughout the run, which probably does not make it worth it, because clipping kind of takes a little bit to actually do. It's not like you can just instantly clip through stuff. It's probably like a 5 or 6 second setup most of the time. This is the excellent lesson that definitely did not have co-op in mind. We'll see which one of us gets thrown into the dueling ring with the robot.
I'm pretty sure it's a choice thing, and then the second person just gets like yeeted in.
Gotcha.
Sorry if you hear a beeping. I'm not sure how much my microphone picks up. It's annoying. So another reason why one might want to get the freeze spell later is because all the bonus spells go over top the pink spell, and so what ends up happening is
You gotta be the white spell, the Lumos.
Oh my gosh, I'm dumb. It looked like blank to me, so I was like, what do you want?
So this is the excellent mini game of dueling where you just press the button repeatedly.
Because that's all it takes.
Yes, that's all that dueling is. You just mashing a button. Alright. So after this split, that's going to be where we start to see some more creative routing than just following the story, which we did up to this point.
After this split is also where you see the worst cutscene in the game.
Oh yes, pepperoni.
Yes.
There it is.
Those of you at home who are under the age of 5, you might want to close your eyes here. This Lego game is rather saucy. See, like, there's his pepperoni blush, his weird dark circle blush. Disgusting.
Alright, so now we're gonna go back to Diagon Alley because we need to go buy a spell.
This is finally where we get that spell I was talking about.
Yes.
So we're gonna go buy Glacius, which makes freeze clipping possible. If you're a LEGO speedrunner, you've probably heard that term. It's in a couple of other games. And you probably have a reaction to it where you're like, oh, isn't that horrible? So freeze clips got a pretty bad reputation in like the first couple months after they were found, because we didn't quite understand them yet, and also we didn't have the method that we have now to do them. We have a couple of methods to make them easier. But this is the first one, so we're actually gonna clip into this room hidden behind the statue here. And what is beyond this is where we unlock the Weasley boxes. Oh my gosh, depth perception, why do you fail me? There, cool. Okay. So yeah, we went through, and now we're Fred and George.
You wanna drop out, or I'll drop out?
Yeah, I got it. Do I? What's going on?
Yeah, you got it.
I don't know. Okay. I'll force this for you.
We gotta do the hammer first. I can't jump yet. No, it's fine. I was just getting ready.
I apologize to the viewers. It's been, I don't know, maybe I should have done a practice run a bit sooner. The last one I did was like a month ago, so perhaps not the greatest idea.
You want to drop out for this cutscene?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will. I saw you do, there's another freeze clip you can do coming up where you basically just skip a Weasley. Oh my god, what's wrong with me?
It's fine. I'm gonna blame the latency on that one again. Yeah, can we try this? I was having difficulty. I changed some settings on my computer and I was having difficulty with the other thing. After I changed.
So this is what we do for freeze clips. I should have explained this earlier. We actually make it a bit easier by shifting to Lumos and then back. Which basically what happens is we cancel the freeze animation and they're about to break out of the spell, so they like shift a little bit. But then we cancel the canceling of it and repeat it. So we basically get to go for a lot longer than we would if we were to do it without. And we would also get a bit more violent motions, I find. Do we maybe want to do like the start method?
That only works in like one spot in the run, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
For some reason that only works in the focus level, which is really weird. I've never gotten it to work anywhere else.
Yeah, that is bizarre. But I think we forgot how to explain how freeze clipping works. So when you're frozen and you're about to break out, there's like this moment where your character like shifts a little bit to the left or right. During this, they actually have no collision, so they can go through different surfaces if they're thin enough. And we abuse this a lot, and it's basically our main method of clipping. We didn't know at first that it was frame rate based, and so part of the bad reputation that the trick got was based off that. There were some people who were running with VSync on with a low frame rate, and thus they weren't having as much. Chimkin probably has the highest frame rate I've ever seen. I'm not sure if you can see the little FPS thing at the bottom there.
No, I don't think that shows up on the stream, but it's it during these cutscenes especially. It goes up to like 1,000. It spikes a lot.
Yeah. So it's a bit easier. Of course, I'm not going to say that you can always get clips like within like the first 3 tries. It's not that level, but it is also based on like the thickness of the surface you're dealing with, and so some are a lot easier, some are harder. So it's not like a thing where you can say, oh, all freeze clips are terrible.
Right.
We've also routed out one of the biggest run killers recently. I think this is where we do the year warp.
Yeah, this is the year warp. So, it should be said that that thing we just did, the Weasley boxes, is not supposed to happen until almost the end of year 5, but we're able to,
do it at any time.
Yeah.
Just like we're able to do this at any time. So we're actually going to clip into here. This is where we learn the spell Augmenti, and it's the only spell learning thing that we can access early outside of the Weasley boxes for some reason. This has two uses. It saves time on its own because with Augmenti you can open up a movement route that you usually aren't able to, which saves a bit of time. But also, we just warped into year 6. So I'm not sure why the year system works like this, but if you go to an area that in usually like year 5 or some other year, and you go into a spot that's associated with another year, then you can warp into that year. And so that's how we skip a lot of the levels. As mentioned before, we could technically use this to warp right to year 5. This skip sucks.
Jump.
I hate it.
Jump, please.
Please.
Okay. I'll give this a couple of attempts.
Alright. Guess I'll fill up the water while you're doing that, just in case.
Okay. Not getting jumps, unfortunate. You know what, we'll just do this the intended way, it's fine.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a jump there that you can use to skip doing this book puzzle and building some stairs over here, but it really doesn't save that much time, and it's kind of bad.
I thought it saved a surprising amount of time, but I guess not. It does save you a lot of tears and frustration, though, because for some reason, filling up the staircase is infuriating and weird, and I don't like it. Oh no, let me have. I swear I can run.
I think you need to jump.
Oh, right.
What? How did I hit you with that? What?
There's some weird things going on. Anyways, now we can fill up this staircase, which is a painful action.
Yeah, it does not like to be filled up.
Weird.
Oh.
So this is looking pretty good, but sometimes
Nice.
it can just, once it moves up, it can just decide, no. Do we skip this?
No, this one doesn't, because we have to wait for the thing to come out anyway, so this one doesn't really save time.
Yeah.
You can skip it, but like we have control before that even opens.
And so now this flower gives us a key, as flowers are known to do.
Yes, but of course.
I've broken into many people's houses from keys that I've got with flowers.
So now we have Augmente unlocked, which is one of the abilities we need. We're gonna exit this room just so the door is open, because we're gonna need to use this again in the future.
So, I think we should explain that the reason we actually go to year 6 right here is we are going to actually come back to year 5. This isn't it for year 5, because later on we need another spell.
Yeah.
In the game, you usually learn the most amount of spells in year 5, and that's Expecto Patronum, then there's Defindo, which is the one we need, and then there's, I can't say it, I just call it Focus, because that's the level that is basically used around it. We found a way to route out 2 of those spells, which actually saves a lot of time, like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to come back for Defindo, but we're going to leave after that. We do this, we do a year 6 a bit early, just to complete the first level and then do a tiny bit of the hub. Because it actually saves time on hub movement, just thanks to the way that things work out.
Yeah. So we mentioned earlier that we could jump around to years whenever we want, but I think there's 7 abilities that we need to get access to in order to actually beat year 7 part 2, which is obviously the last movie, and since we can't skip around within the actual year, we need to play all 6 levels in year 7 part 2. So we already got the Weasley boxes and Augmente, and then we're going into year 6 now. We're going to get 2 more abilities here. We're going to get another ability in year 5, and then 2 abilities in year 7 part 1 before we do all the levels in 7 part 2.
The 2 abilities in year 6 is counting Augmenti, because that's usually a year 6 thing.
I was talking about spectroscopes and reducto.
Oh yes, right.
Easy to forget about those.
You theoretically could do without playing like any level in this year. If you're at Hogwarts and you just happen to be in year 6, it's always there. So we're gonna do another clip here. This is one of the clips that we decided not to do because Chimkin was having trouble with it. But recently it's made its way back into the route, and I'm glad it has.
I got taken away by the... I guess that's not the place to stand.
This is probably a terrible idea, but let's try it.
Nice.
Yay!
Okay, and we're gonna do another clip here.
Yeah. This is actually, in order to get into that place, this doesn't actually save any time, really. But what does save time is that usually there's a cutscene associated with going into here. But we can just kind of get Dumbledore in here and do everything early, despite the fact we're not usually supposed to have him in this part. Let me hit that right there. Let me do the chandelier if I can.
The only side effect here is that you have to do all of this without very good visibility. So that is kind of obnoxious, but it does skip like a minute-long cutscene, so definitely worth it. And that clip is pretty easy.
Yeah, there's one more thing I need to do.
Yeah, right there.
This link here, then. Well, first I guess I'm gonna put this over here. You're supposed to get a whole bunch of pictures. If you can't tell what's happening, don't worry, neither can I.
So, on the subject of freeze clips, normally the ones that are harder are the ones where you need to go like entirely through a wall or through like a very thick wall, and the easier ones, like the one into the Augmente room and that one there, either is like a very thin wall or you're just trying to hit a transition, and those tend to be not so bad, but we will definitely encounter some bad ones.
Then there's Hogsmeade clip.
Yes, beautiful Hogsmeade clip.
I'd consider it currently the hardest clip in the run.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I've said this already, but we've recently routed out 2 run killers. That was Lake clip. We would have to do it twice. It's how we get into year 8. And we need to do that twice for a reason that I'll explain later on. We don't actually play any levels on our first trip. We just needed to activate something. But that used to be a run killer. People would lose multiple minutes just because it was a very thick wall and the transition was far back, so you actually had to go all the way through.
Right. This is another level that has an insanely long cutscenes in it. Like the opening cutscene's a minute and a half, like this cutscene's a minute and a half. The cutscene we skip is like a minute long, and the end cutscene's like a minute long. There's really not that much gameplay in this level, but it's like a 7-minute level.
So originally one of the early skips in this game, one of the few, was we would be able to skip a cutscene here before we found our like F2 cutscene skip by just defeating some of the UFOs that are terrorizing this poor woman. And then the cutscene trigger would be gone, so we could just go right up. But recently we've just found a way to destroy all the UFOs together, thanks to a combination of the cutscene skip and these handy-dandy rockets. I think we're gonna try it.
Oh.
You stand on it.
You have to go up because you're wrong.
Oh no. Oh gosh. I can't. Oh,
you want to switch, like, you want me to do it, or?
Yeah, I'll switch to Hermione.
Alright.
I guess I'll drop out.
Yeah.
Let's
so,
hope that we get
this is a physics-based skip. And drop in. Oh, I got carried a little too much. Basically, you ride the rocket into the sky, and then you get launched up top. But it looks like I got hung up on the rocket a little too much. So, unfortunately, that is a one-try trick, but it doesn't really save that much time, so it's not a big deal.
I like to ride this carpet rolling up all the way to the top, but sometimes that doesn't work out. So now we put a rocket on the back of this tiny little custom Dolores Umbridge doll. Don't question it. And it gives us a hat to put on this sleeping phoenix. which will then use its power of being in a box to blast out the door. Did you get all that?
This might be a good time to mention, so there's actually a out-of-bounds trigger in that room that you can clip into, and if you hit it, it ends the room. But there's a weird little feature in this game where if you use an out-of-bounds trigger to end the last room of a level, it doesn't actually progress the story. So if we did that, we'd see this cutscene, we'd still see the level complete free plan lock screen, and then we'd go back in the hub, and the hub would direct us to play that level again, which is very unfortunate. So we can't use that in the run, and that's gonna play. Sorry, go ahead.
To add on to that, the reason why that happens is because the flag system in this game, which is what actually marks your progression, is based on various actions in game, and so that detail right there is actually big because the out of bounds trigger not setting the flag means that we have to do something interesting and something pretty much unheard of in any LEGO game, any percent. In order to fix it, and that is use a free play split.
Yeah.
We'll go into that later on.
Yeah.
I know that there's like a whole bunch of loose threads that we're introducing and then saying, no, we'll tell you about that later on. But some things are better explained when you can actually, we're about to do them.
Yeah.
And sometimes my tangents go into that direction. So my bad.
It's just some foreshadowing for later in the run.
Yes. Hope you're keeping track of all this. You might want to take notes.
There will be a test.
And an exam, which is pass-fail. For the entire course.
Of course.
So this is where we get our Spectra specs.
Oh yeah, I have this misspelled in my splits. I always misspell this. I keep thinking it's spectroscopes, but that's not what it is.
Oh, what am I? I thought it was you. Sorry, I'm used to being Harry in these sections, so I was a bit useless. That's my bad.
That's fine. This is
I guess I'll just do this.
There's like nothing that co-op saves time on here because all of these actions are sequential, but that's okay. So now we have that. That's a really short lesson.
Yeah. So this is pretty much, we're gonna go through a couple more rooms, and then that's where our early year 6 adventure is going to end. Because there's this weird thing in the game where if you do not complete, I believe it is year 5, level 4, there will be this cutscene trigger which just stays there, which is the Great Hall cutscene trigger, which you saw earlier with the tinfoil cake. And the thing about that is, it just takes us back to year 5, right? Because that's what's associated with it. And so, it's both a blessing and a curse. Because A, it helps us skip some freeze clips later on, which means those aforementioned run killers. But it also is pretty much the reason why this saves time at all, plus the fact that there's the matter of convenience. Because usually we'd have to do some movement in order to get back to year 6, but because of where we left it and the way that things work out, we don't really have to. The entrance to the next level in this is actually just right in here. And so that saves us a lot of movement because we no longer have to do all that stuff in order to get back to year 6. It's just on the way.
Yeah, so it's very convoluted, but it ends up being fast, which is cool. I like fast, convoluted things. This next level has a freeze clip that takes advantage of an out-of-bounds trigger that skips a room, which is kind of interesting because I'm not really sure why that's there, but you know it's there, and I'll allow it.
Usually we have to dig up a cake from the sand to give to Dudley, who apparently is so ravenous that he'll just take it.
Yeah.
I don't know who's burying their birthday cake in a sandbox, but that child is even more spoiled than Dudley. Yeah, so, weirdly enough, Snape only has, the focus spell in this.
No, I don't think that worked. He doesn't go, like, give him a second, and then if it's looking like he's not gonna clip out, we can do the pause thing. Okay, cool. So,
yeah, he just gets, like, launched. That would be so helpful everywhere else.
Unfortunately, it only works in this level, for some reason.
Yeah. So we can't really do the Lumos method, which is why we do that little thing there. Because Snape only has one spell, and so he can neither cast Glacius, nor actually clip through using the Lumos method.
This level's also just a lot of waiting around, because what ends up happening...
Like, if things are happening around you, you're not really causing them.
Yeah.
You are entirely reliant on other people. So usually there's this cutscene which is hyping up this master evil dummy coming out of the ground, but he just kind of goes down in one hit. We could do it a bit early, not by much, but a bit early.
What? I didn't know there was a purple stud right there. Okay, cool.
Traveler's Tales, you sly dog.
I just jumped at the mirror and got a purple stud. This is an example of one of those that really doesn't save time, because we have to wait for the net to come all the way down anyway.
Man, auto-targeting sucks. I have to be directly in front of him in order for them to even think of having the spell that lands on clouds in order to make people's thoughts apparent actually work on clouds.
How different is this run on the Wii? I'm pretty sure... Well, I haven't tested anything, but I imagine a lot of the things would work similarly. You would just have a lot harder time with the freeze clips.
Yeah, that's generally how console works. The frame rate is capped, and so freeze clips suck. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Just wait until his Steam sale to get this game on PC, I guess. If you already have it on console, and you don't feel like spending like $5 to $2.50 on Lego Harry Potter years 5 to 7 for the Nintendo Steam, then I guess too bad. Suffer.
So this is the Defendo lesson. This is the last thing we need to do in year 5.
Yes. Usually after this is a whole bunch of events where they're in hub, they're not levels, they're terrible, and they take up time, but they don't actually give us anything. And then there's just like 2 spell lessons. But thankfully we skip all that.
Yeah. This lesson has a funny little skip. You're supposed to do 3 different objectives, but it turns out you get awarded Defendo after just completing the 3rd one. So it doesn't really matter.
I really wish that the rest of the game worked like this, where if you just do the final one, then...
Can you drop out for this so I can see what I'm doing? Thank you.
Yeah.
The visibility on this is a little bad.
This is one of the few platforming intensive skips in this game. Usually, LEGO games have some platforming skips. They tend to do that.
Can you? Oh, actually, this is better. Thank you. I need to make a fish here in the wall, and I can't really see what I'm doing, but that's okay. And for some reason, putting that fish in the fish tank proves our proficiency in the art of Defendo, and now we have that ability.
Yeah, this cuts through red walls.
Yes.
This is one of the 2 candidates for spells that potentially, if we found a really big skip, we could just not do the year, basically. But there is some stuff later on where you absolutely need to use it in order to even get into a level. So
this section's kind of weird. So we walk into that, which took us back to year 6. And
yes.
To skip a cutscene, we're gonna go into the Great Hall.
And then just leave.
Yeah.
You get one side of it, and decide we've had enough.
Yeah, so that skips the Great Hall cutscene that we're supposed to trigger when we hit the transition that took us back to year 5.
Not only does it save time because of the cutscene, but usually we would have to go all the way around. We'd have to go through Hogwarts to get to sort of the path, and then we'd have to go through and watch it. And usually that's not how it's supposed to work. I don't know why I said it like that. So there's a cutscene skip in this level, or this little segment here, which we wish we could do other places, but we can't. We managed to skip like a full motion pre-rendered cutscene by basically picking up a gold brick, which is just sitting around in this room, as we complete the final objective, which is, of course, making the potion.
And we can do that because this potion is completely useless to us to complete the game. This is not something that actually like gives you an ability, really.
Oh no, it's just completely useless. Period. Basically, it unlocks a potion, but what does that potion do? Turns you into a skeleton for a brief amount of time, during which you do not have any cool skeleton powers. Oh my gosh, woman, fit. Okay, good. Thanks. Sorry. Right. Oh, right, I should pick up that.
Is this working? Oh, it is. Okay. I should probably get this.
Can I say a quick donation?
Go for it.
Yes, go ahead.
We have a $20 anonymous donation, no comment, but as an update, if we include all the channel point reward donations, that puts us at $997, so we're only
Whoa.
$3
Who
away.
is providing all the channel donations? Who has this much money?
Me.
If you want to grab that, I'll get myself set up
Chimkin
for the
might help as
cutscene
well.
skip.
But yeah, we're $3 away, so if someone wants to be
sorry.
the last
I'm
person.
X for some reason.
If you want to go get the leaf
I'll go get
over
it.
there, yeah.
I was distracted by the donation. I was like, oh, I forgot we were playing a video game for a good second.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that skips a cutscene there, which obviously saves time. It also actually soft locks our save file from getting 100%. Because it skips the gold brick animation and learning that ability. So now we're gonna not follow Nearly Headless Nick because we don't want to do that for like half of this run, and there's a faster way to get to where he wants to take us that skips a bunch of puzzles because we have.
Yet consistently, I'm a sheep who just like is like, I trust you, but he's led us astray in this particular instance. So this is what makes early Augmenti a bit faster, other than the fact that it year warps us. We can do these platforms here, which skips like a whole bunch of different puzzles we need in order to get the staircases up here. We only do the first one because in every time that we go here, we don't really need to actually walk out. We can just go back to Hub and then walk through the door and it'll take us out of there.
So here's another hub section lesson thing that we really don't need to do, but we have to do it just because it's part of the story.
But it unlocks the vial,
yes,
which is not an actual ability.
The vial, very important vial.
Which we never actually fill.
Yeah,
so.
No, because we skip all of the parts where, or most of the parts. I guess there's like one cutscene where he's trying to convince Slughorn to give him his memories.
A funny, I mean relatively, I should never introduce a joke by calling it funny. That is a recipe for disaster. But a running gag about this game is that
I'm gonna
we
drop out
actually
for
just
this.
kind of skip most of the character deaths in this game. Dumbledore never dies. Dobby never dies. I'm just spoiling every Harry Potter movie, but
Sirius Black also never dies in this.
yeah, Sirius Black never dies. The only one who does is Snape.
Bellatrix also never dies. We skipped that as well.
I mean, it depends on what you consider dying. Oh yeah, we do skip it now, so she's also survives.
You want to use the key thing.
So speedrunning saves lives.
Yes.
At least plastic ones. We need to turn that. My only job is to turn keys, and even I'm bad at that.
Not a very helpful character, super helpful character Mrs. Cole is, but she does have the key, which is an ability that is hard to come by in this game.
I mean, I can do these cool flips.
Oh, I did not know about that. That's interesting.
I was looking for a long time for a way to use that. Like, maybe I could clip, because I don't think they tested it out that much. It's useless. There is, like, you can jump a bit further, potentially. Like, you can get caught on some Lego pieces, but it doesn't really help in this segment.
So now we have baby Voldemort there, who we're just welcoming into the wizarding world.
Mind you, not the baby Voldemort that appears later.
Oh,
This
yes.
is child.
Sorry, this is child Voldemort, my bad. There is a baby Voldemort as well.
A very puzzling baby Voldemort, which is definitely the funniest part of this game.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite cutscene in any LEGO game, honestly. It's good. So this is where, instead of following Nearly Headless Nick, we open up our pause menu, a must-have for any wizard, and return to Diagon Alley.
If you want to go ahead, I'll open this, which is going to be useful for later. Okay, maybe.
Yes.
Actually,
You'll
works.
notice a recurring theme of this game is this will be oh.
No, that's fine. I was having issues with that. We'll have other opportunities for that, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah. We're gonna go through this door many times.
Yes.
So this actually saves a bit of time because what we have to do next is, I'm pretty sure we go to Hogsmeade.
Yeah, that is next. And that's...
Yeah, which is a bit faster than walking all the way there because, well, I mean, you go through a bit less rooms in order to get to where the Hogsmeade Gate actually is. Speaking of Hogsmeade Gate, I hate it.
Yes, this is the worst gate in the game. So because we did not do the hub section in year 5 that unlocks focus, we cannot do the intended way to open this gate, which means we have to clip into it instead. And this gate is very thick.
This is the one of 2 instances which we actually like need it for. If we were to like in our current route, or would need it for rather.
You want to try clipping in?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I wasn't thinking.
So close. Oh. Okay.
Launch. Only that had taken us up higher.
One thing that these clips really like to do is get really close to working and then like zoom 5 feet in the wrong direction. They do that a lot. Like it's so close. It wants to go through so bad, but it's just not having it.
Okay, so one more time, and then just so that like my mind can rest, because I am going to go into this game and try it later. If we don't hear. Is I want to try the pause method here. I know you say it doesn't work and I believe you, but also curiosity gets the better of me. This sucks. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I was using Lumos, which is not the same because you are about to disappear after this.
Alright.
Now let's... Yeah, I guess. Weird. Maybe it only works on characters who don't have spells.
Okay,
like
there it
all
is.
of them.
Yeah,
there we go.
I've been trying to figure out what makes that work just in focus, and it's mind-boggling.
Maybe I'll go and try to freeze in free play like Mrs. Cole. So this is the most pointless level in the run.
Yes, definitely
In the game, maybe. So we do various wizardly activities, such as pouring a drink for our professor, and cleaning off a table for our professor, and then making it easier for our friend to be harassed.
What a level. Alright, you want to go get the duck? I'll shoot it.
No, let me out. If I have to go around, I swear. Okay, there. That is all foam. I'm telling you, there's nothing but foam in that mug.
I think they were really short on ideas for levels in year 6, which is how this made it into as one of the 6 levels.
But you know the weird thing is that like the nursery thing is more fun than this. Not the nursery, the orphanage thing.
Yeah, they could have made that a
more
level.
Fun level than this is.
Yeah, mind-boggling.
If they like added something onto that, then it probably would have been a better level. Like maybe just one of these things.
Yeah.
Like honestly, maybe just this segment. It's still pointless, honestly.
Yeah.
But at least like the cutscene after it has some significance, because this is where the vial comes into play.
But, you know, before he's gonna give us his memory, we have to clean his table. But then he doesn't give us his memory anyway, so...
Yeah. Which is pretty much a very mean thing to do. Oh, wait, which couch do I hit?
It's over there, it's that thing.
Oh. Yeah.
You're in this room like 4 times throughout the game, and it's like a different puzzle every time, because there's another level that has 2 different like segments of it in this room. It's kind of a weird room. This is what you want to do in all of your LEGO games. Sponge the table. And now the best part of the level, where we get to help Hermione's stalker find her when she's hiding. Because that's just what we're doing for some reason. Oh, it looks like we just hit the $1,000 target.
Oh, wow.
So thank you everyone so much for that. That
Thanks.
is incredible.
That's like... Oh, it's a bit less than like a half of what we got last year. So that's incredible.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year will be even better.
I'll do the cutscene skips for this. Hermione does not pick the best hiding spots. She decides to hide under the
That's
lamp.
not the thing I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah,
is it?
it's the lamp over there.
No. Yeah, like in a lampshade, really is standing like that. At least has some tactical advantage.
This one is
You're
the one
in a
that makes me
higher
laugh the most, where she's just disguised as the turkey. Because
And now there was for a brief moment there was 2 of them.
yes.
Why are you shrugging like that? There. Hopefully that balances out some of it. This is a weird thing where the levers are in opposite directions, and so you don't need to force both of them. Just one of them.
that's it for that level. Now, this is when we're supposed to unlock Aguamente, and there'll be a short cutscene where Professor Flitwick is trying to get us to go do the lesson, but because we already did it, we are not going to go do that again. We're going to go back to Diagon Alley again, because once again, that's faster.
This is our opportunity to do this, so...
Okay, why is it... Okay,
oh,
fine.
I got caught on a table. Did you give up?
No, I got it.
Okay, good.
So, now on to another level, and this is probably the other of the two worst clips in the game that are in any percent.
Yeah.
Not this first one, but the second one in the level is kind of not great.
I love this routing here because you take the train only to take it back.
Yes, because the train is the trigger to enter the level.
Yeah. This first clip is actually, I consider it to be the easiest in the route. That's my personal opinion. Maybe like the Snape clip is now easier thanks to that other trick. But I definitely consider this to be the easiest one because the washer, which is meant to be the enemy in this section, actually helps you out by giving you a surface to bounce against, so it forces you into the wall. But this second one is terrible. Mainly because you have to do it at a really weird angle, thanks to the fact that there is a fire blocking your way.
This is also like one of the cringiest cutscenes in the game. This is teen romance. This is teen romance in Lego form right here. This is how it works.
What? It's also really puzzling to me how the cookies are just gold studs. They're eating their own currency.
Alright.
So here it is. You can do it.
Okay.
The washer actually gets like pushed back a little bit by you, I find.
Cool.
See?
Nice and easy. Now the second one.
Which is anything but nice and easy.
Yes.
I'm honestly very impressed that she managed to prepare a batch of cookies and a cake in the span of 30 seconds. But I guess that's just how it is.
Alright, I'm gonna give this one a try. I was working on it earlier.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, let me get in position. Okay.
Is that good?
I think you have the wrong spell.
Oh.
Yeah. Likes to go back to default sometimes.
Oh gosh, I'll step back a bit.
Okay, that should be good.
I need to go in the wrong direction.
I'm not giving up on this one quite yet. Okay, now I am. Now I am.
Idea. If this doesn't work out, turn to your wolf form and we'll try the pause thing.
Turn.
I know this is the best time to be testing stuff in a marathon run, but we have like tons of time, and I will want to see if maybe my theory about the fact that it's not a full wizard is partially correct.
So you want me to turn into the wolf and try that?
We can do it a couple more times.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, that's definitely not the angle you want.
Yeah, let's... Okay. Oh, I had it there for a second. Darn.
Ugh.
Okay, now I got it. Cool.
Yeah, okay.
So that skips that whole room, which is a really long puzzle. That's pretty involved. So that clip like saves a lot of time. I don't know what those are. Oh, I get turned back into the wolf. That's not good. But they just like blow up and kill you for some reason, which is interesting.
Maybe if the wolf thing works, then we would be able to do a skip of this little section here.
Maybe.
Sorry, I'm just like, my mind is constantly thinking about glitch possibilities. That's just how it works. Actually, how I found like most of the skips in this game is actually just like hypotheses that I had while lying in bed waiting to go to sleep. So that's how it's done.
So this is a pretty long boss fight, but I think casually it's kind of cool. Like, you got some
Yeah,
stuff you
I
have to
think
do
this
here.
is maybe one of my favorite levels.
Yeah.
Casually, speedrun wise, it's a cool thing to watch, but doing it sucks.
And for a lot of the sections where they throw stuff at you, I like to kind of get really close to them so I can grab them as early as possible. There aren't too many of those in the run, but this is one of them.
In replay story in all levels earlier, there's actually like a trick that was found long before I even started playing this game, where you could kill Umbridge in the 7th year. That's not a... we don't do most of the levels in that, so it's not actually in any percent. But if you're close enough, then you can actually get like instant damage on her, where you skip flipping it.
Hmm.
I keep thinking I'm the one who has it, so I just end up running forward. You can escape this guy's grip if you use Lumos, but I'm pretty sure that doesn't cut it.
I don't think he matters for this third section.
No.
I know he does in
No,
the
it is
second one,
all
but...
in the third section if you do end up getting grabbed, but...
Can you get a quick donation?
Sure.
Yes, of
We
course.
have $10 from ChessWiz, and he just says LEGOthon hype.
Thank you, Chess.
Thank you, Chess.
Thanks. What's the incentive progress?
I think we've already hit every single one because, yeah, we're at like $20 over for the overall marathon. Fun fact, that clip went very poorly on our PB, so we ended up saving about 4 minutes there.
Are we still behind?
Oh, no, we are very far ahead.
Oh wow.
We are like 6 minutes ahead of our PB right now.
So we're actually about to leave year 6.
Yeah, this is the last lesson.
And this is where more routing shenanigans come in. This is finally where we're going to use the Ravenclaw common room.
Yes.
So the Ravenclaw common room, actually, when you're in year 5, takes you to year 8. It does not do that in any other thing, and it's weird because you can access that room as early as year 6. So the fact that it takes you to year 8 is just entirely puzzling.
Yeah. Doesn't make much sense, but it's a nice little feature. So now we have Reducto. That's the last spell we need to unlock. These other 2 slots are spells we do not need to beat the game. And
So we're not actually... Oh, sorry.
No, you
Even
go
though
ahead.
I think I've said this earlier, but even though we're going to year 8, we are not going to stay there. What actually happens is, usually after we do a year warp, we just end up warping to Diagon Alley, so that we can just start the next level, because that's where all first levels start. But in this, we're actually going to be walking all the way back to the train station. So this is where actually the year 5 cutscene Great Hall trigger is not a detriment, but it actually helps because this is how we get back to year 5 so that the Ravenclaw room can take us to year 8. Very confusing, I know.
Lots of year warps. It's rather wacky, but it all works. And luckily we can skip that cutscene every time after we watch it the first time.
One who figured a lot of this sort of extra year warp stuff out, like the out of order. Before we would do it pretty simply. It was just we would do year 5, then we would do year 6, then, well, actually, the year 8 segment was in the route from the start, but we did it in a different way. We didn't go back to year 5. It was still like, we wouldn't go back in years. Intentionally, at least.
So by opening that door the casual way, we basically get to skip doing a really bad clip, which is nice. And it's also a little bit faster off of hub movement as well, which is also nice. So now we're in year 8, and we're gonna say year 8. I know I say year 8 all the time. When we say that, we mean 7 part 2, but it's just easier to say 8. So.
It is. It is 2 halves of the. Pretty sure like the entire thing takes place in like the span of a month or 2.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a year. We'll call it that. Time is relative.
So
it's all lies.
This is what I like to call the walk of shame. It's not really shameful, but there's a lot of walking. So we have to walk all the way back to just outside of the leaky cauldron.
I'd call the shame component the fact that nearly headless Nick just is completely out of his mind.
Because he has no idea where we're supposed to be going right now. And he's gonna just run into a wall here, I think. Yeah, he's just chilling.
Sorry. Usually at this point in the run, you're not supposed to get back to Hogwarts as these guys. Whenever you go to Hogwarts, you basically use the Marauders map in the Harry Potter tent, because what's significant about the Year 7 movies is that this is when they leave Hogwarts and they end up going on adventures outside. So if you do want to go back to Hogwarts in order to do collectible stuff, which is an opportunity they give you, you play as Ginny, Seamus, and Neville. But in order to get back to the campsite, you have to go through all these wanted posters. Oh, we should explain this. The reason why we go to year 8 is just so it can activate that cutscene. Usually, in order to have that base plate be uncovered, you would have to play year 7 level 2. So the thing about year 7 is that everything that we need from it is unlocked in the first level. So now we go into this diner fight right here, which is what takes us to year 7. This is a year 7 component.
Yeah, and a nice little convenient thing is that cutscene we need to trigger to skip year 7, level 2, is right next to the way to get into year 7. So we're going here anyway, pretty much. Just so happens that we can also skip the second level by doing that.
So initially for like a few months after the year warp route was started, we would actually try to clip out of this diner again before Chimkin just was like, oh, you could just use return to Diagon Alley. So now we do, and it saves a surprising amount of time and a lot of pain.
Yeah, that fight is kind of... It's another one of those where you're just waiting around for him to throw items at you, and it's kind of lengthy and not very interesting, so the fact we don't have to do it is pretty nice. So now we're on to year 7 part 1, the first level here.
Yeah, this year is something.
It is indeed.
There's a cutscene in this, which, although it is a camera pan, we still can't skip it. Don't ask me why. But Chimkin recently found a pretty precise way to do it.
Yeah, we can try and go for it. It's pretty difficult, so if we miss it, it's not the end of the world. It's just a...
It's like a 5-second time loss, really.
Yeah. I think you're gonna be Mr. Weasley here, so
I will start the refrigerator, I guess.
Yeah.
Or fixing the vacuum.
Yeah. I went too early, my bad.
It's okay, we have another shot at it.
Yeah. just barely missed it. So what you want to do there is you want to hit that transition right as the cutscene starts, and that gives you control in the next room, and then you can come back. But
drop out on this one.
oh yeah, my bad. But as you can see, that was not a very long cutscene, so it's not a big deal.
There's a moment where the hair is just a completely different item before you can pick it up. It's weird.
Yeah, it's not expecting you to pick it up before that because it's still in the cutscene, but it's just chilling there on the floor. And
But it has a different texture as well. It's
yeah.
like kind of like Child Voldemort's hair was, but then it like turns into like a hairy type hair.
Weird game.
This is probably the best like stud grinding method in any LEGO game.
Oh yes, this second area or the third area. Yeah.
My bad. Yeah.
This is such a forgettable room.
This. I probably should have went for the dumpster. Oh well.
That's fine.
Still have time. It's a trash can, not a dumpster, but hey.
Close enough.
Yeah. This is the room I was talking about, where you like do a getaway from the Death Eaters. But it just gives you a ridiculous amount of studs for hitting something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is.
It's so weird too, because like the studs that you get, the amount you get is not really consistent. Sometimes you get way more than other times, and I don't really know why.
Yeah, but usually with two people, there's two people who are shooting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it is for hitting the Death Eaters. But you can see like the huge amount of studs that is just blocking to player one right now. See, we just got True Wizard in like seconds. This pretty much funds us getting a character that we need later on for a free play split.
Yes. Because we do need to buy a character and play a free play split in this run, which is pretty phenomenal.
I think the difference is that if you're playing as Hagrid, you have a slower wand animation, so you can't fire as many times.
That makes sense.
The purpose of this room entirely is just to show off that you have these two new abilities, which are actually used a lot from now on. They're probably the most prevalent thing. I've pretty much daydreamed about ways to skip every other ability that we currently need to get, except for this one, because it's just such a no-brainer that there's too many uses that we'll ever be able to do it.
It's a good thing that we don't really have to do too much to get to here. We only need to play like one level of episode 7 part 1, and then we get the two abilities mid-level, and then we can leave, because nothing else in 7 part 1 gives anything ability-wise, which is pretty nice because it is not a excellent episode in my opinion.
If we could get back to Hogwarts in year 7 without using the tent, this is something that's unrelated, but I just kind of thought of it now, then, sorry, let me think about that. Without using the tent, then we would be able to skip that whole first journey to year 8.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, as it is now, we just can't. Interestingly enough, in the years 1 to 7 version of this game, it was found a long time ago, sort of as foreshadowing to our current thing, that you could switch to Hermione and then open the door to the Hogwarts Lake. And what it would do is it would warp you to year 8. That's what we used before to get to year 8. Because using the Polyjuice potion, you can warp into Hermione, which is something that the devs in the original thought through and they disabled it, but in the 5 to 7 version, this doesn't work for some reason. this room is another one which has a cutscene trigger that you can skip the end to if you go out of bounds. We use it on replay story where you don't need to set any flags because you already have everything unlocked.
Yeah.
But we can't in this. There used to be a strat where we would go out of bounds anyways and just take 2 characters that we needed, Ron and Hermione, to the end of the room. But I think it's just kind of, this way is way faster and also a lot less infuriating.
Yeah. Because this room really is not that long, and everything you'd skip by doing that we've already done, because you'd have to do this section here to actually end the level the intended way. I'm gonna try and get rid of these guys. Oh, okay, yep. That makes sense.
Don't ask me why there's a lantern.
Did that work?
hanging
No,
fake.
it didn't.
It's not a real one, nonetheless. It's all a fake. It's all a lie. I just made it unintentional. Ugh.
Oh, yes.
I'm ashamed of myself.
So another thing we get from beating that level, which is actually not something I thought about until now, is Apparition, which we get right afterwards, which is a required ability in order to enter one of the levels in Year 8. So we get that right here.
Yeah. So now it tells us to go in there, but again, Nearly Headless Nick doesn't know what we're doing. He somehow hasn't caught on at this point. So here we go. Now we go use the Marauder's map to get back to Hogwarts, and we do the Ravenclaw trick again. It is Year 8 now. The cutscene trigger to start Year 5 is still there.
Yeah, that trigger persists even after you beat the game until you beat 5-4, the 4th level of Year 5. For some reason, it just never goes away until you do that, which is very nice.
Weird about it is that cutscene is 3 levels rather, before the cutscene trigger is 3 levels before we actually beat that level.
Yeah. Very bizarre thing, but I'm not complaining. It is helpful.
Good old Gryffindor common room.
And this time, since we have all the abilities we need to beat the first level of Year 8, we can just fast travel back to Leaky Cauldron. You don't have to worry about walking all the way there, because entering the level does not softlock our save file like it would otherwise.
Yeah, if you were to go to Year 8 without any of the abilities that we need to get in this run, then you would just be stuck there for all eternity, and that is how many of my testing files are brought to a swift end.
So now we've done everything we need to beat Year 8. We got Diffindo, we got Reducto, we got Augmente, we have Weasley boxes, we have the Deluminator and Hermione's bag, we have Spectroscopes, and we have Apparition. We have all those abilities, so now we just gotta beat Year 8, and then we're done.
So, there's the Grave of Dobby. It might have his body, it might not. We have no proof.
Never died. Did not happen.
I don't know how to feel about this level. It's like I love this moment from the films. I'm gonna go with I love this level, honestly. I think that the vault is just such a cool place to be because they got all of the items to duplicate within it, and just seeing it fill up with the trophy room is so cool. However, we do not see that at all in this run.
Yes. This level does have a freeze clip, which I'm pretty sure it skips a cutscene, right? on top of also a room?
Yes. It's probably saves the most time out of any freeze clip we have.
Yeah.
Other than, you know, the ones that we use to time travel.
Yeah. Oh, and the one in the last level. That one probably saves
Oh, yes,
more.
that one saves
Yeah.
far too much time. I would kind of forget that exists. It's a recent addition.
Yeah, we'll discuss that more once we get there, I guess. But of course, first we have a auto-scroller we have to sit through before we can get to the actual vault. And as far as I'm aware, there is absolutely nothing you can do to speed this up. You just go through and press X repeatedly until you hit these 5 things. But that's okay. It doesn't really take all that long, so it's not a big deal.
So, we would be able to skip doing this section and the freeze clip of the next room if we were able to freeze clip past this fire. The thing about that is that even though I have found like some ways in order to get around it, there's this huge death plane on the other side of it. It's also, the only way to deactivate it is to actually go into that room.
Can you use
there.
the pad?
The death plane extends really far to the point where you just, it's impossible. For example, you can skip this puzzle even by just going into the second room, but when you come out, for some reason, the fire will, the death plane will still be there. The only way to get rid of it is to do this puzzle. That was some pretty sloppy bull riding, customer.
That's a really... Vehicles in this game are very sensitive to anything in their path, and as soon as you hit something, it just, like, goes off the course. So I think there was one of the goblins was in front of you there.
This used to be, I called it the most, like, time-saving freeze clip and also one of the easiest before we found out that we could use the Lumos method. Now, strangely, I find it to be one of the harder ones. It's not extremely hard, but it's not, I wouldn't call it easy. Ooh, that's a bad angle. Yikes.
You can try that again.
It's always hard with Hermione to tell, like, what way she's facing, because she does this thing where, like, her body's in a different direction.
Oh, shoot.
Oh my gosh,
Oh, okay. Yep, sure. Yep. No questions.
Oh, I just switch off the character I needed. I'm being weird. Being strange. Oh, you need me to...
No, it's fine. You can do the run stuff, I guess.
So, this next section is this thing where we have to, like, hit all of these goblins who are on the upper levels. Our first co-op run ever. We lost 5 minutes to that section.
The goblin just wasn't there.
No real gameplay, and we lost, like, 5 minutes. Simply because there's this one, like, goblin who lurks in the shadows and is impossible to see if you do not have perfect vision. I am terrible when it comes to vision. I was just talking about how the other day I am unable to solve CAPTCHAs because I just can't see the items that they're asking me to see. Do I wear glasses? No. I have them, never wear them. Because I forget to put them on. Anyways, that's not related to Harry Potter at all. Sorry.
There's one right up there, yeah.
Brat.
Okay, cool, we got them all. Alright, that wasn't that bad.
What? Huh?
There's 6, but you'll need to actually hit 5 of them for some reason. Because... reasons? So, yeah. Alright, this next section after this has an interesting thing we have to do involving getting a character token. Do you want to explain that a bit?
Yeah, so that's for the free play split. We have that free play split because, as we explained before, the flags in this game, okay. The last level that we need focus for, is actually the action of giving the person the thing that they need is what sets the flag for the next level. But because we don't have the focus spell to actually see what he needs, which is the bucket, we cannot actually set the next marker in story. There is, however, a cutscene trigger outside that you can walk into, and it will end the level. It will not mark your progress as saying, okay, you can enter the next level. But it will, however, add that level to your replay board, allowing you to go in for a free play split. And for whatever reason, the act of accomplishing, giving him the bucket, operates the same way as it would if you were to play the level for the first time. So what we do for that is that we pick up this character here named Albert Runcorn. And he has the spell that we need. There's only a couple of characters in this game who actually do that. And they're all rather expensive, except for him. He happens to be one of the cheaper ones, and he's also just on the way. Ooh, that's good. Oh, that's what I wanted to do in our last practice run, but I messed it up, and here I was, just doing it unintentionally.
Alright, so now we have Albert, which will help us in a couple of levels. So now we just gotta play through the levels as normal till we get there, and then we'll do the wonky free play stuff.
I mean, as normal, relatively.
Yeah, relatively. Oh, and this level has the best sound ever in the entire game, which you'll hear a lot in the first, like, 40 seconds of the level. You just heard it a bit there.
For some reason, Death Eaters decided that a siren is not a good enough alarm. Instead, they need to have the sound of a goat being murdered playing over and over again, just to let people know that there's a couple of wizards just chilling out. Also trying to get back to Hogwarts, but... Here, I'll drop out for this one.
Okay.
Hopefully I don't miss it, because this is one of the most important ones.
No. Good. I tried to go a little bit beforehand there, hopes that it would
Here's
work.
another phrase clip.
Yeah.
It skips us making a potion. It's one of the... Weird fact about this trigger, it's like barely in the wall.
Yeah, it's like an inch into the wall there, and it's also extending way out to the side from where you're supposed to hit it for some reason, but it's there, so.
Yeah, which is good because we do not have the cauldrons that are blocking the way. I'm pretty sure that's what they are too thick for us to freeze clip through normally.
Yeah.
Super cool zoom in.
Fun fact about this room, there is actually a transition out of bounds that, like you can hit, but all it does is reload the room instead of doing anything interesting, so not very useful for the run.
I have played around with it a lot. It's weird. I don't know why it's there. I'm assuming that it's like a leftover from something. I don't know. This is the room of requirements, but it's like at a completely different angle and it's a completely different
You want to
size
go over here?
from the one that we normally go into. Oh. Oops.
That's okay.
Radio.
You need to hit it once before it does its little thing.
See if you have enough time to freeze clip me before the...
Oh. Sorry, I was looking away from the game there.
We wouldn't have been able to do it either.
Yeah.
I wonder what happens if you like reload the room as the cutscene plays. If you like make Luna the last one, or like the other guy, Dean, the last one, you could probably make it there in time and like get the reload just as the cutscene starts. Would it skip it? Maybe. You could just soft lock yourself. Why do you have to have this spell that's on the opposite side of the wheel? This is...
So these are the little dueling mini games that we unlocked in year 5. There's really not that many in the run now. In fact, I think it's just dueling, like the lesson, and then this, and that's it. Because we don't do the ones in the last level anymore.
Sorry, I'm always a bit slow.
Oh, that's fine.
Really wish he didn't take the time to look nervous before attacking us.
Yeah.
We tried to skip that one?
I have, and I haven't had luck. The same with the one at the end of this 3 heart section. I haven't been able to skip that one either.
Pretty sure we've tried like every one in this game at this point.
Yeah. I've also tried to find some sort of out-of-bounds trigger in this room to skip all of this, but no luck there either.
Here, I'll be here for emotional support. I'll turn into a cat. You can do it.
I forgot that McGonagall can turn into a cat. That's like not something that really comes up in the most of the movies actually, except for like the first one. Or the books. Actually, I don't remember about the books. I haven't seen the books in such a long time.
I just moved him a little bit. So next up is Burning Bridges. It is a level.
It is indeed a level. It's a very long level. It's the longest split in the run by a lot. It's like a 10-minute level. And I don't know why it's so long, like even casually, like it's so much longer than all these other levels. I think a lot of that's the cutscenes though.
Yeah, perhaps. There's like a couple of little platforming time saves that add up across the run there.
Yeah.
Does McGonagall no focus? I don't think so.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but I'm not sure. I know, like...
I don't know. I feel like I looked at like a lot of characters that did a while back, and I was only like able to find a couple. I'm pretty sure I would have noticed McGonagall on that list.
Yeah, because that's a token that takes literally no time whatsoever to get, because it's just right there.
That's just minus her. I didn't see the
Yeah.
spell.
Oh yeah, we literally last level. Yeah, I know Dumbledore has it. I know a lot of the Aurors have it, and a lot of like the dark magic characters I think do as well, but most of those aren't really helpful compared to Albert, old reliable Albert.
Mm-hmm. So normally you're able to skip this first little bit. Well, not normally. It's not normal at all. In the replay categories, you're able to, and that's thanks to an extra called Fall Rescue. Usually what Fall Rescue does is if you fall into a death plane, they'll put you back to where you were. But thanks to Lumos, you can repeatedly cancel the animation and slowly inch forward as you do so, which allows you to get around gaps. It isn't useful enough to be worth getting in any percent, although I have looked at trying to get it in a lot of other categories, including all crests. But it is something.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool piece of tech because you can kind of like fly with it in some ways, but
yeah.
this is
I've also managed to get up to the place where usually the girls' bathroom in the 1 to 4 is, to see if there's a loading zone there. There is not. I wasted many minutes of my life trying to do it.
This is like a jump off of a pixel here, and it kind of sucks.
It's terrible.
Very bad at it.
But maybe if we had gotten Fall Rescue, this wouldn't have happened.
Yes.
It also, there's no chance that it saves any time, because this is the only level where it is useful now.
Yes.
Because we just cut out a section where it used to save time. It still saves time in the replay categories because we still have to do it. This is going horribly.
Yes. Like I said.
I'm gonna, while you do this,
okay.
try.
I don't know what the puzzle for this is, so if you want to give that a try, I'll keep doing this.
Alright. One day you'll get it. I feel like you need to stop going so far, but I don't know. You've done this more than I have.
Okay, there it is.
There, we got it.
It's just such a weird jump. I don't really know what I'm trying to do, to be honest. A lot of the time I just kind of try and get it to work.
If only Luna could speak partial time. You know, if my hypothesis about the fact that you can do the start menu thing on characters who don't have spells is correct, then that means that pets work too. So we would just be able to do a lot of
What just
stuff
happened
like
to
that
me?
everywhere. I'm not gonna hype it up. It's probably not gonna happen. Like, half the things that I test don't end up happening, but the ones that do, I'm very happy with. For example, freeze clips.
Uh-oh, okay.
I don't really think anybody investigated the bonus spells before. Because a lot of them are just like cosmetic stuff. They kind of turn your head big. Afterwards, Chimkin and I looked at a lot of other spells
Oh, okay,
to
that
see
didn't
if
work.
we could do anything with them. All of them are useless, except for Glacius.
Yeah.
It's a weird circumstance.
Even ones like the Transfiguration spell that turns you into a frog, which has uses in the other game, I don't think there's any uses for it here.
There's one use, but it's only really... Well, it's only in free play, really, and it's also rendered obsolete by the clip you found in, like, it's in the burrow section.
Gotcha.
Where you're outside. There's a weird thing where, like, a frog hitbox is able to get past the first fire, but it's pretty useless. What is happening?
Okay, well, that didn't work. Unfortunate.
Well, that sucks. This one saves usually a lot of time.
Yeah.
So there's all this spider stuff. All of this, we're gonna lose a lot of time here.
That's okay.
See, all of this really slow flying away animation can be skipped, because you only need the web that it makes.
Also,
I'm not sure if it's meant to be a spider or a fly or what.
so this is another section where we just have to do like 5 objectives, and there really isn't a way to skip what we need to do. We just need to get there as fast as we can.
Yep. Now for a long cutscene.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite. So there is a skip to skip this room. However, I'm pretty sure it has the reputation of being the worst clip in the whole game, and so nobody does it. Partly because this section has gone really fast recently. There's like a new piece of tech which is only really useful here, where items like this, where you can hold them, you can kind of... Oh, I don't like this. What's happening?
Hold on, let me get on the side of it. Okay.
So you can kind of like raise it a bit, and that allows you to get a certain amount of height. There's a point where it reaches like a ceiling, but it is useful a bit.
Yeah, you can skip a puzzle with a Weasley box and walking along the wall by doing that.
Yeah, so in order to do that skip, you would have to exclusively use a pet character, and you would also have to like stand on this ledge, like on a ledge, like right here, in order to do it. Which means that if your character goes the other way, you have to redo the setup. So there's a reason why people don't do it. Oh no. I really need to stop going on the green spell.
This is a very useful item right there. I like the drill. This room has some really odd things. That drill is really weird, and this whole thing
This
here.
part is also weird. This pile right here, because it's like the first thing that you come across, and it's in the foreground when you enter this room. Is it useful? No, it is not. So there's been like multiple instances where I've gone for it first, thinking that's what I need to do. And it's just completely unrelated. Also, this tooth sucks. You have to like plier it out, but the position is so weird and precise.
And that
Also, it
is
takes a
that
couple
level.
of moments for it to snap in. How much time did we lose there?
Decent amount, but that's okay. We're still far ahead.
Now this is the level where we would need focus, I'm pretty sure, after this.
No, we got the...
There's Fiend Fire Frenzy.
Yeah.
Hate this level. It's pretty, like, forgettable on its own, but also it's just not really fun. And also just kind of wish it wasn't there. It's also responsible for us playing year 6 at all, really.
Yeah.
Almost single-handedly, I think.
This is the only level that has required uses of Reducto in the game. Every other level that we have to play, we have ways around using Reducto, but this one does not. The next level.
There's no way around it. There's multiple levels where there's multiple rooms where you need it, and there's just no trigger around it. We've searched for a long time in many of the rooms. Like, it's probably one of my most searched levels, and just nothing.
That's probably one of the shortest hub sections in the game.
Yeah, most of the Year 8 hub sections are really short for some reason.
I guess there isn't really... Yeah.
Uncharacteristically. That was a mouthful. This dustpan can be used in a similar manner to the paintbrush from last level. However, it doesn't go high enough to the point where you can get over anything.
Yeah.
Oh no, what am I doing? Ah.
I got the other one.
Maybe it would have been faster for me to take the flowers than the spider. So, when we put this shield up here, there's a pile of books which you can jump on in order to kind of skip forcing it when it finally need it. If you miss it, it's not a huge deal. Oh. But
I thought I got it there, but...
a nice couple seconds of time save. Do you want to try skipping this next one?
Sure. I'll drop out and you can...
That's smart.
Do it, just so... You need to be Ron for it, though.
Oh, yes.
Seems like when I do the drop-in, it seems to work better with the latency.
See, this could be so easily skipped as well if just one component of the level was active before you actually do it.
Yeah, this is like the most slap in the face usage of Reducto, in my opinion. It's just like...
Yes, it is. You can so easily clip into this tube right there, to the point where you don't even... you don't need to get this piece right here, which is what you need the Reducto for. But the button only activates once you actually use it. Which is pretty frustrating, not gonna lie. So this is just a whole bunch of platforming and some two-player stuff. There's a lot of cutscenes that we skip. because basically this fire dragon, after we go up each little bit, there's a cutscene where the fire dragon is.
Sorry. I totally murdered you there.
Runs. Can we skip this?
We can, but it doesn't really do much anyway, because it doesn't give you control right away. What?
Yeah, usually they want you to put out some of the flames, but...
I want to try this. Okay, I'm not gonna try that.
Elementi is the worst spell. Oh, what am I doing? I just made it this time, because I was like, yep. I mean, Harry's basically a Weasley at this point.
Oh. Oh, I
Only
almost got it.
Weasley and Arthur Weasley have parented him more than, like, the Dursleys ever have.
You want to go up the stairs? Or the ladder, I guess, not stairs.
Yeah. See, this is like something that theoretically, if you're precise enough, you could skip. And so that's like a use of Defindo that potentially
Can you skip that? I didn't know we could skip that.
I don't know if you can, but I have a theory where if you're precise enough and you clip through and then do like a series of precise, like pixel perfect jumps, then you can get up there early.
Gotcha.
But it's never been proven. It's like a theory that I've tried because you can like hit some of the stuff while you're out of bounds in order to give you a little boost up, but it's never enough. Sometimes I just follow you, like I follow Nearly Headless Nick. So there is an out of bounds in this room that doesn't even require using Glacius. And it's done by basically skipping this cutscene with this flame and then hopping off of it as you do it. So like I could do it here, but that would waste time. If you press Y at any time during this cutscene, you're put out of bounds. I'm not sure what they do in order to make sure that you don't have collision. I think that's just how a lot of vehicles work in LEGO games.
Yeah, you get some pretty weird properties as well. Like, after you do that, you can just kind of walk around. Like, you can just jump right off, and it doesn't kill you anymore.
The broom brushed me aside. The broom brushed me! Ahaha.
Alright, so we have just 2 more levels left, but we also have a free play split we have to do, which will be after this, because this level here is the problem level that makes us have to do the free play split. Oh, I keep running into stuff. I'm gonna drop out here, because there's a cutscene right at the beginning of the next level we want to skip.
Right, yes. That's caused some problems in the past.
Yeah.
You can, like, press start pretty quickly, but it's also just easy to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
That little hub section right there, I kind of, like, have, like, a traumatic flashback when I see it because of all the times that I have tried to bypass the loop before I was able to find the solution.
Yeah, because like Toffee mentioned earlier, if you beat this level by using the out of bounds trigger, which is what we're going to do, you just get stuck in an endless loop there until you actually beat the level with the correct spell.
Alright, this is it. Yay, we did it. So these troll skips are probably the most useful FCSs. That's a forced camera skip. That's what we call the camera skips in the game.
Oh wait, I want to
Simply
do this.
because they completely skip the cutscene.
Can you do that? I want to the thing up there.
Sure. Yeah, sorry for not dropping out earlier.
Oh no, you're fine. I just.
All right. Come on. There. So usually there would be a cutscene of a troll charging through, and breaking the door, but the door is just broken from the start if you FCS it, which saves a lot of time. Well, more than it would if you were to FCS it and still have the troll charge through. Thanks. Spider. I think I'm gonna switch off Ron. Do you
Okay.
think that-
Yeah, I'll do this.
Yeah, I'm not confident with it, and it's quite bad if you mess up. So this is Pumpkin Skip. This is meant to be a whole boss battle, where you use this pumpkin launcher in order to kill him, and then there'll be a staircase to get on top.
Oh,
However,
I am
if
really
you
close.
stand on the pumpkin
Okay.
as it's being launched, then you get launched with it, and you can basically just walk right by.
Can you hit the spiders? Oh, never mind, they're
Yeah.
gone. You can just stay tagged in for this.
Ron's afraid of spiders, but you also need Ron in order to finish this segment, so it can be a problem.
Yeah, but there's this weird thing which for some reason, when player 2's tagged in over there, it despawns enemies over here. So like, the spiders that are spawning right now, as soon as they're fully spawned, they despawn. So I just gotta wait for that to happen.
Yeah, before we had to do this thing where we would trick the spider into going into the flames. It was but thankfully we don't have to do that because it was some pretty precise AI manipulation. Why did we drop out?
Oh, because there's a cutscene.
Oh, sorry, that was my.
Oh no, it's fine. Here, you want to try it for this one?
Yes, that would save some time.
Okay.
How far back you go?
And now, cool. I'm trying to say it early in hopes that with the latency it'll still work, and
Yeah.
I think that's fine. Alright, this following room is the room with the usage of focus that caused problems for a while.
It's all that damned bucket. Snape needs a bucket to put his tears in, hence the name of this level, Snape's Tears, so that you can go and view his memories. But we don't know that he wants that because apparently he can't just talk to people.
I mean, he did get attacked by a snake because he ate Voldemort's last cookie, so I guess that makes sense. He's probably pretty
not very
injured.
many times. He's the reason why we lose 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He's the reason why I've lost so much time in my life trying to bypass it.
Alright.
So, you can clip
Yeah, I'll do the...
this. Oh, you need to go outside here for this one. This clip is weird.
I'm gonna try that again.
It's really hard to tell whether or not you're through until you're all the way through, despite the fact that the wall is deceptively thin, but it's still pretty difficult. And so often you can keep going and then you're like, oh,
Okay,
I was
there
in.
it is.
Oh, there we go. So all you have to really do is just stand outside and then brush by. And there's the end cutscene.
Yep, which skips that whole room, but like we said in the past, that's not actually going to progress the story to the last level, so we have to go play that level again in free play.
Let's do it again. Yay.
But that does save like 20 minutes in year 5 from not having to go get focus, so it is still quite a bit faster to just play the free play split.
Here, you drop out when you get the chance, and I'll do all of the menuing to get there.
Okay.
So this is where we're gonna go and buy the character, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We can stay dropped in until we do all the movement.
Okay. We gotta watch this cutscene first, though.
Yeah, this is the one you were talking about earlier where you thought you did it was done well.
Yeah, I think they do a pretty good job of saying a lot of information without any words here. This is like the entirety of Snape's story in 1 minute.
That feel when you don't get the girl, so you decide to join a genocidal group of people.
Feels Snape, man. One thing about this run is the end of the run has a lot of very long cutscenes. I think the opening cutscene of the last level is almost 3 minutes long. But you can't complain too much because we do skip a lot in the last level, so we can explain that, I guess, during that cutscene. So now we need to go do the free play split, and I'll drop out for this.
Alright, I will go into and buy the character.
Yeah.
Is this where we use the wardrobe?
That's after this split.
Oh, okay.
We gotta do the free play first.
Alright. It's only 20,000, which is pretty good.
Very, very cheap character.
Dumbledore, the other character we were considering, he has a price tag of 1 million.
Yeah.
So.
A little too expensive.
Actually, the other character that we used for a while before Albert Runcorn, I think, was Grindelwald. Not sure if he ever actually made it into runs or not.
I think he did, but his issues, he was just much further away than.
Yeah, you have to do an entire puzzle section just to get into his spot.
Yeah.
Oh no, what have I done?
It's fine. We have Lumos, so it's all good. Wow, that camera is something.
I think you could be the pumpkin person again and then just switch. I don't think it'll matter who. Oh, I'm using Glacius. Oh right, yeah. Keep on forgetting that there's like an FCS here, but it doesn't really do much.
Yeah. You say you want me to do the pumpkin again?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I'm like, don't trust myself not to mess it up.
Alright.
The good part about doing this in free play is you don't have to worry about Ron being scared. That was interesting.
Worked though, so that's good. Alright. Yeah, for some reason in free play, Ron just not worried about spiders for some reason. Like, I don't have the same issue here that we did previously. Could just completely bypass the spiders.
Oh, I think I should mention that usually there's like a troll. If you beat this troll, then another one appears.
Can
by
you
the
drop
door.
out?
Yes, I can. Then
All
usually another one appears by the door.
And drop in. Cool.
And that's why we can't just walk in there.
Yeah, like there's a wall here.
The advantage of the troll not being there is that you can just walk right
Can
by
you drop out again?
without having to be hairy. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Got caught
And
up in
drop in.
Oh.
Cool.
Oh, well, that worked.
Okay. Cool.
You don't have to be hairy and use the invisibility cloak in
Yeah.
order to get past. In free play, you can just use Lumos to get over it, but Ron doesn't have Lumos thanks to the Deluminator.
Yeah. Which is why am I watching this? I wasn't even thinking about that. We can totally just skip that cutscene.
Did we skip the earlier one?
I don't think the first cutscene plays, just the mid-level ones do. And I also completely forgot about that FCS thing.
Oh, so we're not gonna...
Oh, do you want to do the clip?
It's... I don't know. If we've already showed it off,
Yeah.
it's fine.
It doesn't really save that much.
If you want, you can try the cabinet one.
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll see how that goes.
Maybe I can freeze clip myself while you're doing that.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it.
Oh, that's
You have to like jump off the buildable pieces, and if they go in a bad spot, I don't really think it works. So now we have to do this room the intended way this time around.
disappointingly. Yeah, but Albert, good old Albert, he has focus, so we can finally see what Snape wants after an entire level of ignoring him. Do you think two-player Augmenti actually saves time in some spots?
I don't know. Does it fill it up faster?
It looked like it there, but I don't know.
Worth looking into, I guess.
Yeah. Lots of things worth looking into after this.
So now that we've finally beaten that level the correct way this time.
What, relatively correct.
Yeah.
I still used the wrong character to do it.
So this is a little just to get us back here faster, because you can use the vanishing cabinet now to get back to the castle, which is considerably faster than taking the train. Because this takes us right to the room of requirements.
I really wish that this was active earlier, but it only becomes active like around 8-4, I think.
Yeah. And now we have just the last level, which I think is the level with the least amount of gameplay out of all of them, like optimally.
That is no understatement.
Yeah.
I mean, like, normally it has like a fair bit of gameplay, but there's a skip that was discovered where there's another end level trigger that's hidden on the other side of the field that you start at. And since in this category we count that as completion because the credits still play, even if it doesn't progress after that, we can just use it to skip all of the last level. Usually, the reason why we can get it from the start and just finish the thing without actually beating Voldemort is because the first bit of the level is clearing the path to get to where Voldemort is. And then the second part is like a meanwhile elsewhere bit where you defeat Bellatrix Lestrange, and then it goes back to the final battle at the end. But that all takes place on the same map, and the trigger is still there.
Right. So basically, you start in room 1 and then go to room 2, and when done with room 2, you come back to room 1, and room 1 has the out of bounds trigger that just ends the level. But normally this level, I think, like, casually would take like 13 or 14 minutes, and you can do it in like 5.5 with the out of bounds trigger, so it saves like a solid 6 minutes to the casual way, which is pretty great for the run. Hopefully we don't get the launch this time.
So this trick was actually found by Annabeth again. This one was by accident.
Yeah.
How we would skip Expecto Patronum before, which was needed in order to get rid of the Dementors in the final battle, was that after Harry duels with Voldemort for the first time, he goes away into an out-of-bounds corner of the map, while the rest of the gang fights off a whole bunch of creatures. The thing is, if you drop in the second player, they're still Harry, so they can just be out of bounds, and then we would just go back in and use Harry to kill all of the Dementors. But then Annabeth found, like, I'm pretty sure it was by accident, that if you just go off a bit to the left while out of bounds, then you can hit a cutscene trigger. Oh, baby Voldemort! This is him!
Yes, I like this cutscene a lot. This whole cutscene, even though it's like super long, it's probably one of my favorite cutscenes in the game. It's just a lot of like good memes and funny moments, like this coming up here.
There it goes. Everyone's getting tossed in this cutscene.
Alright. So there's a freeze clip here that we're going to do to get out of bounds, and hopefully it goes well, because occasionally it just launches people into the sky, which is not what we want.
We can't really say what time is beforehand, so we're just gonna have to say after. It's gonna be a bit off, but hey.
Yeah, because it kind of comes up suddenly.
Oh, I think you were out for a second.
Okay, let's try that again. It's really hard to tell. Okay, I'm out.
Alright.
Do you want to drop out so I can... You want to drop out just so I can kind of see what I'm doing a little better? Okay. So, this is all, like, just barely out of bounds. So I'm going to do some movement here to walk in the small area. And I missed the trigger there, but...
It's okay. We just respawn.
Yeah. There it is. Time.
There we go. Time.
Like I said, it comes up really quick. I don't really know when it's going to happen. But that is the entire fight with Voldemort just done like that.
How much did we PB by?
Little over 6 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a new world record for co-op as well.
Yep. It's not really much of an achievement. The strats have updated a lot since we did our first run. Basically what happened was we did our first run, it was pretty subpar. We did our second run, we tried to upgrade it with the new strats. It was still a bit subpar, but we still PB'd by a lot, and so this is us using more new strats in a subpar manner. So I don't think we're ever just gonna get a good PB.
This one was definitely better than the last one though, so that's good. We didn't have any like 5-minute time losses to a freeze clip this time around.
Yeah. So that is it. I guess I'm gonna give shoutouts. So I'd like to shout out some of the members of the LEGO Harry Potter 5 to 7 community. Frostillo, I don't really know how to say it, is a newer member of the community who has been doing a lot in order to try to get more people involved. He recently made a route guide. Well, not recently. It was a while back. And it's just recently been updated. And he also contributed little tiny bits to the route, I believe. So I'd like to thank him for that. You can join the LEGO Harry Potter Discord server. It's different from the main one. If you want to learn more, everyone's like really willing to answer your questions, so long as they're speedrun related. We've had a lot of people who just ask, how do I get this mini kit? And we just no idea what they're talking about. It happens a bit. Anyways, also shoutouts to Annabeth again, and then shoutouts to some of the older members of the community who helped like optimize the run before it had any sort of freeze clips in it, like Ella Pie and Bucket, and then I'm pretty sure there's another person. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of right now. But yeah, all of them. Chimkin, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it. That's about all I had to say. Yeah, I think that's it for us then. Stick around for the LSW2 any% race after this, and we'll see you around.